Hey everyone, so it's been a while. Well, ngayon lang ako bumalik sa pag-create ng content because officially, this is the first time ever na nakalabas ako from the confines of a hospital and from the confines of my room. And now, kasi they took out my IV line. So, wireless na ako, pwede na akong gumala. But then, sabi ko ng doctor, pwede akong maglakad-lakad. So I decided to take a short walk. So dito muna tayo sa medyo mapunong part. Uh, anyway, kaya ako ginagawa tong the reason why I decided to do this video is to answer some of the questions and some of the comments that I got from my Facebook page tungkol sa naging sakit ko. So, to start off, marami kasi ako natanggap na messages na ano ba yung sakit ko? Kidney stone lang naman yan. So, tubig at pandan lang naman yung katapat niyan. Buko lang yung katapat niyan. Uminom ka lang ng uminom ng maraming tubig, whatever. For some reason, how I wish ganun kasimple yung naging sakit natin, Sana napakasimpleng kidney stone ba. Well, actually, doon naman nag-umpisa yun. So, started off April. That was a Good Friday. So, nakaramdam ako ng konting pain sa aking flank, which is dati naman ang nangyayari. Dati na kasi nagkaroon na ako ng history ng kidney stones, tapos napapass out ko naman yung stone. So ngayon medyo naging lang ngayon, medyo naging mas grabe lang yan. So ER trip, hospital trip, and then after that few CT scans, ultrasound, x-ray. So nakita nga na meron ako medyo malalaking kidney stones na medyo complicated yung location niya kasi nasa ureter siya, wala siya sa kidney. So nagkaroon ako ng urethral blockage. Then after that, the doctor decided na lagyan muna ako ng stent kasi may inflammation of the ureters ako. Inflammation, namamaga yung ureter. So hindi ako pwedeng mag-undergo ng surgical procedure. So what we did was I took medications for 3 months. 3 months ako nag-medicate hoping matunaw yung stone. But unfortunately, dumating yung araw 3 months after April, May, June, July. Sometime in July, ultrasound ulit ako and CT scan. Unfortunately, nandun pa rin yung stones. Isa lang yung natunaw. So I was able to pass 1 stone. And then yung tatlo, medyo makukulit sila. So nagstay sila dun sa ureters and sa kidneys. Nga pala, nung April nilagyan ako ng stent just to help me pass out the urine and the stones sana. So sana yun sana yung that was basically the idea. So take medication, matuna yung stone, lagyan ako ng stent, mag-pass out yung stones with the urine. But then hindi nga nangyari. So ultimately, I had to undergo the surgical procedure, which is yung tinatawag na RIS. So they call it retrograde interrenal surgery, something like that. So it's the least invasive. So walang tusok, walang hiwa, walang tahi. But then everything has to pass through everything has to pass through that tiny hole. So yung camera, yung everything. So nag-undergo ako ng ganung procedure, which is from a different hospital. It was done somewhere else. And then doon na nag-start yung ating hindi gaano magandang kwento. So after that, outpatient lang yung so it was just an outpatient procedure. So I went in the morning and then nagkaroon nga ng procedure. In the afternoon, na-discharge kagad ako. So there was no hospitalization whatsoever. And then okay naman. I felt nothing. I felt nothing was wrong, except parang medyo mahapding umihi, which is expected kasi nga doon nila pinadaan lahat eh. So what do you expect? I mean, with all those instruments na dinaan doon, syempre nagasgas kahit papaano yung daanan ng ihi natin, di ba? So after that, after a day or two, parang nag-normalize naman yung urination ko, parang wala na ako nararamdaman. And then after that, after 4 days, nagkaroon ako ng fever. So I was actually thinking na yung fever was just your ordinary cold or flu. Dahil at that time, July, medyo tag-ulan yan. So, 'di ba, alam naman natin pag mga ganong season, parang season din ng ng flu or ng lagnat-lagnat. So, hindi ko pinansin. Then I was taking paracetamol, oral paracetamol, hoping it would be able to help with the fever. So, namamanage naman yung fever natin. Yun nga lang, parang umiigsi yung interval nung kailangan ko mag-take ng paracetamol. So, I kept on taking paracetamol for the whole day. It's like nag-round the clock ako, round the clock. Pero yun nga eh, parang the fever started to get worse and then the chills started to get worse. Until the time na I said di ko na kaya. So I was hitting 39.6, 40. Yun na yung fever, yung temperature ng fever ko. So it was a bit alarming, and then the chills, it never went away. So ganun, until we decided to go to the hospital. Now, when I reached the emergency room, and then when they called the doctor, nagalit yung doctor ko. Sabi niya, ba't ko raw hinintay pa ng 3 or 4 days? Ba't daw pa nagpalipas ako? Dapat pala, on the slightest hint na nagka-fever ako, I should have gone there right away. And then, ayun, after that sa ER, they gave me paracetamol na through the IV. So medyo mas malakas siya. It was 1 gram round the clock. So yun lang yung nakatulong sa yun lang yung nakatulong sa fever and chills ko. So I was relieved of the fever and chills. But then, syempre pagka may fever and chills ka, normally it would come from somewhere, right? So they had to find out kung saan nanggagaling yun. So what the doctor ordered was I should get some blood works na yung CBC, the usual CBC, and then may pina-add siya, which is yung blood culture and sensitivity, and same as with the urine culture and sensitivity. So actually pang detect yun ng infection. And then after that, I had some procalcitonin test din, or PCT test. So nung lumabas yung result ng PCT yun, medyo mataas nga siya. Normally it was just 0.05 or lower. Mine was hitting like 1.2, 1.3, somewhere there. So medyo medyo malala yung infection. That's the time they decided na mag-add sa team of the doctors ng isang infectious disease specialist. So after that, she was the one who decided kung anong antibiotics yung ibibigay sa akin. So I started out with actually pitong nakapitong stages ako ng antibiotics. So I started out with the lowest one, yung oral lang. Then after that, there was something else. Probably I would just put it in the description kasi medyo mahirap siyang bigkasin eh. Hindi yung pangalan niya eh. Mga gamot medyo mahirap bigkasin yung pangalan. But then I'll probably just put it in the description. Yung stage by stage kung paano nag-progress yung aking antibiotics. But then anyway, ayun, so I spent like 7 days in the hospital. Pero yung medication ko at that time was the final antibiotic that I had for that particular hospitalization was yung piperacillin tazobactam. So medyo malakas siya na antibiotic. Intravenous din siya. So when I was being given that in the hospital, I stayed there for about 7 days. Pero yung order ng doctors, I have to take that for 10 days. So the remaining 3 days, I had to do it in the house. So umuwi ako na naka-heplock. And then after that, lumabas yung result ng yung result ng blood culture ko and yung urine culture. They found out that I was infected with Pseudomonas. There's a second word but I can't remember. It was Pseudomonas. And nung lumabas yung result na yun, nag-worry yung doctor ko, yung urologist, kasi sabi niya, that's one of the bacteria that most doctors fear kasi mahirap nga siyang patayin. And mahirap, yung treatment niya is not as easy as pandan and water or buko, sabaw ng buko. Hindi siya ganun. How I wish talaga ganun kadali. Kasi hindi biro yung lalagnatin ka ng mataas na halos mag-convulsion ka at maging delirious ka. Hindi biro yun. It's very taxing. And after that, so I continued yung aking IV therapy, yung aking antibiotic therapy sa bahay, which lasted for another 3 or 4 days. So intravenous siya. After my last day of IV infusion nung antibiotic, parang normal. Parang baliwala ulit, parang okay na naman ako. So I concluded okay na. 2 days after that, I decided to drive off to Manila. Kasi may mga kailangan ding errands, may mga kailangan gawin. Siyempre, matagal kang na-hospital, matagal kang hindi lumabas. So may mga backlog ka na kailangan you have to attend to. The thing is, nung nasa Manila na ako, I started having fever at 11 a.m. So ginawa ko noon, bumili kami ng thermometer just to get a reading of my fever kasi medyo hindi na maganda. Unfortunately, nung kinuhanan ako ng temperature, it was hitting 39.6. So I was back again. Nagkaroon siya ng relapse. So from Manila, diretso na naman ng AUF, diretso ng ospital. And then the same thing, chills, fever. It was basically the same thing. So tawag na naman ng doktor, confined na naman for another week, another 7 days or so. But this time, ibang antibiotic na naman. There were 2 antibiotics given to me at the same time with the penicillin. Not the penicillin, with the paracetamol na intravenous. Kasi yun lang talagang gumagana eh. Oral paracetamols are not working anymore. So baliwala siya. So anyway, so on with the treatment again. That's another week in the hospital. And another week kasi in-increase niya yung number of days ko for the antibiotics from dati 10 days lang. Ngayon naging 7 days. Naging 14 days. And the antibiotic that she was giving me that time was meropenem. So merop yun. Every 8 hours yun. Bali parang 3 times in 24 hours. So round the clock for 14 days. Yung meropenem, yung pangalan ng antibiotic. Search nyo na lang siya kung interested kayo. Pero anyway, sabi nila it's a broad spectrum antibiotic. So hopefully it can kill the Pseudomonas bacteria. Nga pala, syempre habang nasa ospital ka, minsan makakalikutan ng isip mo na mag-research din, di ba? Do your own research thing. Ano ba yung Pseudomonas? I just found out at that time na you can only acquire that in a medical facility or in a hospital. it's very less likely na ma-acquire mo siya outside. So definitely, I was infected in a hospital facility. So anyway, so ganun na naman yung nangyari. So hospitalization for 7 days. After the 7th day, the doctor for infectious disease wanted me out of the hospital kasi sabi niya she was worried that I might get something else from the hospital like a pneumonia. Baka daw ma-infect pa ako ng pneumonia sa hospital. So baka madagdagan pa yung gagamutin namin. So there I was, another 7 days in the infirmary. So after the hospital, after the 7 days in the hospital, 7 days ulit sa infirmary, continuous na naman yung aking antibiotic therapy. So via IV again. So I went home with a heplock. Actually I didn't go home with a heplock. I went home with an IV. So ganun yung nangyari. And then natapos na naman yung 7 days sa infirmary with the 14-day antibiotic therapy. After that, feeling okay na naman ako. So sabi naman ng doktor ko, once you feel okay, you can go back to what you're usually doing. So ginawa ko, lumabas ulit ako. I made some little driving, but then I was a little bit careful na hindi ako mapagod. And then 3 days after that going out thing, here comes the chills and the fever episode na naman. So yun na naman siya. So balik na naman tayo sa fever and chills. Another hospital trip at 3 in the morning. So ayun. But then this time medyo, let's just say it became worse. Because I came to the point na I became delirious talaga. And I didn't know what was happening. I don't remember what happened to the ER. What happened in the ER. So, sinabi sa akin, kwento lang ng mga nagtakbo sa akin, my wife and a brother. They were saying na I was so delirious. I took the IV out. I took my shirt out. And I started running towards the gate, towards the entrance of the emergency room. I ripped the curtain. So, yun. So I was really delirious. I was hitting 40, 41 degrees at that time. So they gave me a very, very powerful antibiotic. I think yung pangalan was Zevisefta, I think. Parang Zevisefta. It was medyo malakas na yun. Tsaka binigyan ako ng ng pampakalma. Sabi that thing, I forgot the name. I'll just put it in the description probably. So pampakalma siya. So again, admitted again for another 10 days in the hospital this time. 10 days in the hospital. So at this time I was also given 2 kinds of antibiotic aside from that Zevisefta. Meron pang isa, Axera. Binigyan din ako ng Axera. And then yung long term na yung the one for antibiotic therapy was Vexpinem. So imipinem siya. Imipinem, then there's a second name which is hard to pronounce and hard to remember. So ayun, yun. Continue ulit for another another 7 days. For another 5 days. Another 5 days. 5 or 6 days yata sa infirmary. Then after that, ayan, eto na yung today. Hopefully, I forgot. This last confinement pala, they decided to take out the stent. So I had the stent with me for the past hospitalizations. Nakakabit siya. It's only now that they decided to take it out. Kasi parang they had a theory na baka dyan namamahay yung bacteria. Baka that's why we were not able to eradicate the Pseudomonas bacteria. Kasi baka dun sa stent, baka dun siya namamahay. So, ayun. That's the story until today. So, hopefully with the stent out, sana naman wala na yung infection natin. So I had sepsis. My procalcitonin level when I entered the hospital, when I got to the hospital, was hitting 35.4. Eh nakalagay dun sa nakalagay dun sa legend, dun sa procalcitonin test. Pag umabot ka ng 2, ano na yun systemic infection na, which can lead to septic shock. Just imagine I had 35.45. And then you know what? After the stent was removed, the day after that, kinuhanan ulit ako ng procalcitonin levels. To our surprise, the level went down as low as 1.43. So just imagine, just overnight lang yan. Overnight. With the stent out and with the antibiotics working together, it went down to 1.43. So baka sakaling tama nga yung theory na yung stent got infected, and siya yung nagkukos talaga nung siya yung nagkukos ng infection, or nasa kanya it housed the bacteria, kaya hindi siya totally na eradicate on the first few attempts of killing the bacteria. So hindi siya ganun kadali pala napatayin. One more thing that I learned with Pseudomonas is meron siyang natural defense against antibiotics. So once you introduce an antibiotic at hindi niya napatay yung Pseudomonas, it will become resistant to that antibiotic. So it secretes a certain amount of certain type of protein that makes it resistant to a particular antibiotic. Like for example, yung una ko was tazobactam. Naging resistant siya dun. Then after that, after I had tazobactam, I went to meropenem, and hindi rin siya namatay doon. So naging resistant na rin siya doon. So you can't go back to the previous antibiotics that you used kasi nga nagiging resistant yung bacteria. So yun yung hirap po sa Pseudomonas infection. Hindi hubuko, hindi pandan lalaki, or kahit na ano pang dahon-dahon. Hindi ho siya kaya ng dahon-dahon. Kaya yun, I made this video para lang, alam mo, share yung experience ko na baka merong magkaroon sa inyo ng ganitong klaseng sakit. Na sana hindi nyo danasin. Kasi talaga, I tell you, napakahirap. Napakahirap po. Ang hirap danasin. Hindi siya madali na it's not an overnight thing. Just imagine, I've been since July, I've been going in and out of the hospital. So, ayun po. So, let me just end this video saying na sana ingatan natin yung health natin kasi napaka-importante niyan. Hindi mo madaling magkasakit. Lahat napapagod. Pati yung mga taong inaabala natin, yung mga nagbabantay sa atin sa ospital. Nga pala, I would like to give special thanks to all the staff of AUF, especially the third floor nurses. Hindi ko na kayo i-mention, pero I'm really thankful na napakabait ninyo sa akin. Inasikaso nyo ako ng talagang inasikaso nyo ako. Ako wala akong complaint. All those people who are changing my sheets every day, those people who are yung mga naglilinis ng room, they should be given credit. Talaga nagpapasalamat talaga ako from the bottom of my heart. Pag hindi na ako na ospital, or pag hindi na nag-relapse yung aking infection, I would still go back there to thank you guys. To personally thank you. Kahit na binibiro nyo ako ng welcome back sir pag every time pupunta ako. Well, anyway. So I guess that's it. So yun. Hopefully makagawa tayo ng maraming content this time. So now I'll head back to my room. Maybe take a little rest kasi medyo mahaba-haba rin yung nilakad ko kanina. Medyo mahaba rin yung papunta dito sa part na to. Anyway, see you guys. Thanks for watching.